Imagine walking into a museum, a bank, or even a high-security vault, places guarded by alarms, cameras, and guards, and somehow walking out with millions in jewels, art, or cash without ever being caught. Sounds like a Hollywood movie, right? But these stories are 100% real. Some of the most daring heists in history remain complete mysteries, with thieves vanishing into thin air, never identified, and fortunes still missing. Today, we're diving into the top 10 greatest heists that still remain unsolved, where reality is stranger and smarter than fiction. Welcome back to Top 10 Facts Club, the channel where we uncover the world's most mind-blowing mysteries, secrets, and true stories. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into history's greatest mysteries. 10. The Carlton Hotel Heist, the smooth $60 million hotel robbery that vanished. Picture the glamorous French Riviera, the Carlton Hotel sparkling with diamonds, and in broad daylight, a lone gunman walks in, calm as a movie star, and walks out with $60 million in jewels. No violence, no chase, just gone. Without firing a single shot, he single-handedly stole $60 million worth of jewels from a display inside. Witnesses described the act as almost cinematic. The thief moved calmly, stuffed the jewels into a briefcase, and vanished into the bustling streets outside. Despite the high-profile location, heavy tourist presence, and immediate police response, the robber was never identified. Theories range from a professional jewel thief syndicate to the infamous Pink Panthers, but no one knows for sure. To this day, the Carlton Hotel heist is remembered as one of the smoothest and most audacious solo robberies in history. To this day, no trace of the jewels or the thief has ever been found, proof that sometimes the boldest crimes are also the easiest to vanish forever. 9. The Hatton Garden Heist, the bad grandpa's $200 million Easter job. Over Easter weekend in 2015, while much of London was celebrating the holiday, a group of elderly thieves, later nicknamed the Bad Grandpas, pulled off one of the boldest burglaries in British history. They drilled through a 20-inch thick concrete wall of the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company, gaining access to a vault packed with safety deposit boxes. Inside were jewels, gold, and cash worth an estimated $200 million. The heist shocked the public, not only because of the scale, but also because most of the culprits were senior citizens in their 60s and 70s, many with long criminal pasts. Police eventually caught several members, but the mystery lingers. A significant portion of the loot was never recovered. Where did it go? Did the gang have hidden partners still at large? The Hatton Garden heist remains legendary for showing that age is no barrier when it comes to pulling off a record-breaking robbery. 8. The Graff Diamonds Robbery, the disguised $65 million Mayfair raid. In August 2009, two sharply dressed men strolled into Graff Diamonds in London's Mayfair district. Posing as wealthy clients, they calmly examined jewelry before pulling out guns and forcing staff to hand over 43 diamond pieces worth around $65 million. This wasn't an impulsive crime. The robbers had used a professional makeup artist to disguise their appearances so thoroughly that even CCTV recognition software failed. The duo escaped in a series of getaway cars, each abandoned strategically to throw police off their trail. Though some accomplices were later arrested and convicted for assisting in the crime, the diamonds themselves were never recovered. The scale of planning shocked London, especially since Graff had state-of-the-art security. Many believed the gems were quickly smuggled overseas, sold through black market channels, and possibly recut to make them untraceable. To this day, the heist stands as one of Britain's most daring and sophisticated robberies. The masterminds remain in the shadows, the diamonds remain lost, and London is still haunted by the question, who really pulled the strings? 7. The Great Train Robbery, millions missing decades later. On August 8, 1963, a gang of robbers pulled off one of the most famous heists in British history. They stopped a Royal Mail train en route from Glasgow to London and made off with £2.6 million in banknotes, equivalent to over $70 million today. While many of the robbers were eventually caught and jailed, the bulk of the stolen fortune, millions in cash, was never recovered. To this day, no one knows where the money went or who might have hidden it away. That missing treasure keeps the Great Train Robbery alive as one of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. What keeps this heist alive in public memory isn't just the money, but the folklore around it. The robbers became almost folk heroes to some, celebrated for their daring and cleverness. Yet behind the glamour, one train driver was seriously injured, reminding us that even legendary heists leave scars. Decades later, the mystery of the missing fortune remains unsolved. 6. The Harry Winston jewel heist, The Pink Panthers, Paris, December 2008. Four men, some disguised as women with wigs and high heels, walked into Harry Winston's prestigious jewelry store. They weren't there to shop. Armed and well-prepared, they looted the store, taking $108 million worth of diamonds, necklaces, and rings. A haul so massive, it ranks as one of the most expensive jewel heists ever. The thieves knew store layouts, employee routines, and even secret storage locations, suggesting inside help. Witnesses described the gang's confidence and precision, traits that matched the infamous Balkan jewel thief network known as the Pink Panthers. While some members of the group were later arrested across Europe, the bulk of the stolen jewelry was never recovered. Authorities suspect the gems were swiftly broken down, smuggled, and sold through underground networks. The Harry Winston heist remains a chilling reminder of how organized crime can penetrate even the most luxurious, high-security establishments. 5. The Lufthansa heist, mob money that vanished into thin air. Immortalized in the movie Goodfellas, the Lufthansa heist remains one of the most infamous crimes in American history. On December 11, 1978, mob associates connected to the Lucchese crime family stole $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewelry from JFK Airport in New York, a staggering amount for the time. The heist was violent, daring, and meticulously planned. But what makes it even more intriguing is what happened afterward. Many of those involved in the robbery were mysteriously killed, likely as part of mob cleanup, and the money was never found. Despite decades of investigation, authorities never pinned down the masterminds, and the treasure has never resurfaced. It's a perfect example of how organized crime can vanish millions right under the government's nose. 4. The Banco Central heist, Brazil's underground tunnel to millions. In August 2005, Fortaleza, Brazil, witnessed a crime straight out of a Hollywood script. A group of criminals posing as landscapers spent months digging a tunnel, stretching 78 meters, 256 feet, underground, to break into the Banco Central. The tunnel was reinforced with wood and plastic, equipped with electricity, and even had air conditioning, showing the criminals' astonishing engineering skills. When they finally broke into the vault, they hauled away 71.6 million Brazilian reais in cash, weighing about 3.5 tons. By the time the bank discovered the theft, the money was long gone. Though several suspects were arrested, authorities estimate that less than 10% of the money was ever recovered. The rest, likely laundered through businesses or hidden forever. The Banco Central heist remains one of the largest bank robberies in history, baffling investigators because of the sheer logistics involved. How could such an operation unfold in plain sight without raising suspicion? That question still haunts Brazilian law enforcement. 3. The Dar es Salaam bank robbery. Iraq's vanishing $282 million. In 2007, Baghdad was still reeling from war when a staggering heist took place at the Dar es Salaam bank. Thieves walked away with $282 million in U.S. cash, the largest bank robbery in Iraq's history. Unlike cinematic robberies involving tunnels or disguises, this crime was marked by simplicity and shocking betrayal. Investigators believe it was carried out with inside assistance, possibly involving bank guards and officials. The aftermath was chaotic. Rumors swirled about political ties, militia involvement, and even government cover-ups. Astonishingly, the money was never traced, raising suspicions it may have been siphoned into funding armed groups or smuggled out of Iraq entirely. To this day, no arrests have been officially confirmed, and the Dar es Salaam robbery remains one of the boldest unsolved financial crimes of modern times. A heist where the lines between criminal gangs and politics blurred into dangerous territory. 2. The Gardner Museum. Heist, $500 million in missing art. On March 18, 1990, two men disguised as Boston police officers entered the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. They claimed they were responding to a disturbance, but instead they tied up the guards and spent 81 minutes stealing priceless art. Among the missing treasures were works by Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Degas, altogether valued at over $500 million, making it the largest art theft in history. What makes it so chilling is how calm and methodical the thieves were, almost as if they had inside knowledge. The FBI investigated countless suspects, from mobsters to professional art thieves, but none were ever charged, and the paintings have never resurfaced. The museum still displays the empty frames today, like open wounds on its walls, serving as haunting reminders of a crime that remains unsolved over 3 decades later. 1. The Antwerp Diamond Heist, the heist of the century. Finally, we arrive at what many call the heist of the century. In February 2003, a crew of thieves pulled off the most famous diamond robbery in history at the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium. The vault was protected by 10 layers of security, including magnetic sensors, heat detectors, Doppler radar, seismic sensors, and a lock with millions of possible combinations. Yet Leonardo Notarbartolo and his team bypassed it all. Over a weekend, they stole loose diamonds, gold, and jewelry valued at over $100 million. Authorities eventually caught Notarbartolo, but he insisted it was a setup, that he was a pawn in a larger scheme involving insiders from within the diamond trade. Most of the loot was never recovered, vanishing into the shadows of the black market. The Antwerp heist remains legendary, not just for its scale, but also for the mystery. Was it truly the work of a few criminals, or was it an inside job orchestrated by the diamond industry itself? From tunnels stretching hundreds of feet underground to robberies carried out in broad daylight, these heists reveal a startling truth. Sometimes the greatest crimes aren't solved, no matter how much time passes. Millions, even billions, vanish into thin air, and the culprits slip away like ghosts. Each unsolved heist leaves behind questions that may never be answered about greed, betrayal, and human ingenuity. There you have it, 10 of the greatest heists in history that still remain unsolved. Which one blew your mind the most? The underground tunnel in Brazil, the pink Panthers in Paris, or the so-called heist of the century in Antwerp? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your theories. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Top 10 Facts Club, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the world's most shocking mysteries. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe, because truth is stranger than fiction.